What are the MLTF risk factors guidelines? Article 17 and 18, paragraph 4 of the 4th AML Directive require the European supervisory authorities, such as EBA, ESMA and EIOPA, to issue guidelines to support firms with this task and to assist competent authorities when assessing the adequacy of firms' application of simplified and enhanced customer due diligence measures. The aim was to promote the development of a common understanding by firms and competent authorities across the EU of what a risk-based approach to AML-CFT entails and how it should be applied. The guidelines are divided into two parts. The first title, Title 1, is pretty generic and applies to all firms. It has been designed to equip firms with the tools they need to make informed risk-based decisions when identifying, assessing and managing MLTF risks associated with individual business relationships or occasional transactions. The second title, Title 2, is sector-specific and complements the generic guidelines in Title 1. It sets out risk factors that are of particular importance in certain of those sectors and provides guidance on the risk-sensitive application of customer due diligence measures by firms in those specific sectors, so as to foster greater convergence of supervisory expectations of the measures that firms should take to tackle emerging risks. Additional sectoral guidelines have been added on crowdfunding platforms, providers of currency exchange services, corporate finance, and payment initiation services providers, also known as PISPs, and account information service providers, also known as AISPs. Therefore, in total, Title II now contains 13 sectoral guidelines about very different key financial sectors, such as, for instance, correspondent banking, retail banking, electronic money institutions, money remittance, life insurance, and investment firms. Together, Title I and Title II promote the development of a common understanding by firms and competent authorities across the EU of what a risk-based approach to AML-CFT entails and how it should be applied. Note that neither these guidelines nor the directive's risk-based approach require the exiting of entire categories of customers, irrespective of the money laundering or terrorist financing risks associated with individual business relationships or occasional transactions. What can firms do to comply with these guidelines? First of all, firms need to conduct an extensive analysis of all possible gaps between their firm's AML-CFT compliance framework, for instance, business-wide risk assessment, AML-CFT policies, procedures, and CDD processes, and the new guidelines. Based on the identified gaps, relevant actions are to be formulated, planned, and executed. These actions include, but are not limited to, updating the risk assessment methodology, conducting a new business-wide risk assessment, revising policies and procedures, designing and implementing new control measures, and remediating customer risk profiles in accordance with the revised policies and procedures.